Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. We are back out working on the Passagemaker dinghy. We've got some epoxying to do. It's 4 a.m. Lots to do, so let's get at it. Alrighty then, sorry about the background noise. The AC is running. It is not quite as cool as I wanted it. It's 71 degrees in here, but it is also right around 4 a.m. so at least I'm pretty confident the temperature won't go up much in the next 3 or 4 hours. And the AC is on, so it should be able to help us out a little bit. Anyways, I did want to show you that I did have the I've got this filleting tool, and I also made up another one that's a little bit bigger, and one that's still even a little bit bigger. So I've got 3 choices here for how this filleting goes. Hopefully that'll show up. So yep. So anyways, we've got. I'm going to be doing the back. I'm going to be doing the aft transom. We'll be putting the full fillet on that, and then also this aft bulkhead here. We'll be doing that. I'm going to do the back side first, and then I'm going to switch up front, do the bow and the front part of the take apart transom, and then come back and do this last. Maybe I got to think about it. Anyways, we got stuff to do here. Hopefully the background noise isn't too much, and I'll try to record as much as I can. Alrighty, and here we go. I'll grab this middle one just in case. Oops, I need a paper towel. Got a five pump bag of thickened epoxy. It's pretty thick, so hopefully we'll have some good control over it, and we'll get most of this done. Starting off with a big old mess. I made the hole a little bit bigger. Oh, if that actually is what's needed there, we're gonna go through quite a bit of epoxy. I can make up some big batches. I'm gonna start with the bigger filleting tool here, and wipe up this. Put too big of a fillet down. Too big of a hole on the Ziploc bag. This is a mess. And I've still got some working time left on this epoxy. I'm going to try to put it back in a bag and see if we can use some more of it. Well, that one looks better. All right. Alright, enough playing around. I'm just going to clean this up. Yep, so the holding this at more of an angle gives us a better fillet. I'm not too worried about how this looks back here. Again, this is going to be covered up. Really, right now I'm just going to look and make sure all the holes that we used for the wires are covered. Or at least has some epoxy in them. So it looks like we're good there. So just going to go ahead and clean this up, and then we'll do another round and do it on the back part there. Hopefully it'll go a little smoother. We've got about 5 minutes left of the working time. on this batch. All right. Yeah, so this is all fairly well done. I think I'll come back and do the whatever that stuff's called, the distilled alcohol or whatever it's called, denatured alcohol. That's what it's called. All right, this doesn't look too bad. I'll come back with denatured alcohol after it sets up a little bit and smooth it all out. That does work pretty good. One thing I'm thinking is that when I do the bulkheads that are going to be visible, right now I'm thinking about why not doing a tape along both edges to give us a little bit better chance at having something look decent. But anyways, let me get on to the next one. I'm gonna go ahead and do this back side of this one next, and we'll see how that goes. Alrighty, I just need to do some cleanup on that one, and then we'll get started on the front ones. But I'm gonna go ahead and stop recording here, and we'll show you the aftermath later. Alright, it's been almost just about an hour since I put this back fillet on, and so what I've got here is a small cup of denatured alcohol, and we're going to see if we can see how it works. Now, I've already done this with the smaller fillets, but we'll see how this works with the bigger ones. So I'm just going to take and put a little bit on my finger. I can feel that I probably could have done this a couple minutes earlier. Yeah, that's not looking too bad. Let me go ahead and finish this up. You may be asking, why has he got two different rubber gloves on? Well, the light blue ones are a large and they're thinner, so they're a little bit easier to work in and a little bit easier to get on. The dark blue is a heavier gauge and a smaller size. And that's because, so you want the finger, I need the finger to be nice and tight so that you can feel when the epoxy starts to grab. You know that you need to put more denatured alcohol on it, and it gives it a smoother finish. Well, that doesn't look half bad. Maybe not half good, but half bad is a different thing. So let me pause here and we'll be back. All right then, it's 7:30. So I've been at it for a while now. So I got these two done. I still have to do that one. I've tack welded in the center bulkhead finally. I also tacked in the aft part of the take apart bulkhead, and then I've finished the front transom and the front part of the take apart transom. So I'm getting a little bit better here as we go. One of the problems I had was I wasn't making that thickened epoxy thick enough. So once I started thickening it up so it was really like more like a dense peanut butter, we went pretty good. And also using the denatured alcohol to smooth out the edges I think it's a must. I think it's a must do, not a they tell you it's optional, but it really helps work the epoxy in and get you a good bond all the way around. So I think that's it's a must do. Getting the timing right on that's a little tricky, but let's see. So the AC has got us. We started out right around 70 this morning, so now we're at 67. So we still got some time 7:30 in the morning. I'm on my last my last breath here, but I want to go ahead and get the final fillet on that guy, and then tomorrow I can clean up the center bulkhead and this one, and get ready to do the. We'll probably do the final on these bulkheads the day after. We'll see how it goes, how I recover from getting up at 4 a.m. here, but we'll push through, get this one done, and see how it goes. So this is about, if we can see this, this is about how thick it needs to be. You can see it's sticking right to the, hardly any droop in it, and it's sticking right to the mixer. So that's what I'm shooting for. It goes into the bag a little bit easier, and it's easier to get a more even bead when you do the when you put it into the joint. Alrighty, here we go. Check my watch, 7:37, so I'll need to come back in about an hour and a half, hour and 15 minutes to get this smoothed in. I'm gonna make this, since this is visible, I'm gonna make this one a little bit smaller as far as the radius goes. All right, just a little bit left. So it's definitely going to be a smaller radius. That's why I wanted to leave the visibles ones to last. I'm almost halfway decent at this now. So like they said, practice makes perfect. Yep. So that's why I wanted to leave these ones that are visible until I got the hang of doing this. Trying to be extra careful where it's going to be visible above the seat. The seat will hang out a little bit over here, so from here up it'll be a little bit more visible. So I'm taking a little bit extra time to make sure that looks halfway decent. Alrighty, there we go. So I'll go ahead and in about an hour I'll go ahead and hit that with some denatured alcohol, and then we'll be back tomorrow to see how this all looks. The thing I'm interested in is I've got the center and the other take apart bulkhead clamped down still, so I'm hoping that when I take those clamps off that it holds them down, but we'll see. Anyways, we'll pause here and be back tomorrow. Alrighty then, it's another 4 a.m. start out here in the shed, but the boat's starting to look pretty good. So all the fillets have hardened up real nice. We're looking pretty good. I've got the tack welds done on the center bulkhead and on the aft part of the take apart bulkhead. So we're looking good there. So it is it's a little bit warm out here. This is going to be my life, I think. Anyways, so it's 73, so I'm going to turn on the AC, and then I'm going to go ahead and start working on, so I need to take the wires out of the remaining bulkheads. So the center one and this one I've got to take the wires out of. Now the next, and then we'll have to come back and do the epoxy, the full epoxy on the center one and this aft part of the take apart. Do the full fillet on those. The next part though is to start putting fiberglass in the bottom section only, and in order to do that they want you to run a fillet along the seam here between the bottom part and plank one. But you can see they didn't tell me in the instruction manual, they don't tell you when to take out those wires. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start here in the aft section with it bonded underneath. I think we're okay, but I'm going to take it slow and make sure that we don't have any movement And then I do need to do some sanding, especially along the edges where the fiberglass is going to lay. The fiberglass cloth is going to lay in here. So I've got quite a bit of cleanup here first to do this morning. So hopefully I'll get the AC on. We'll cool it down a little bit. Then I can come back and and I'll work on that kind of stuff and some of the cleanup. And then we'll come back and do the fillets here, hopefully in about an hour or so. So I'll pause here and we'll be back in a little bit. All right, got everything cleaned up, all the wires out that needed to come out. Sanded, just did a light sanding and wiped everything down with denatured alcohol. When the wires came out, none of the boards moved or anything, so I think we're all good. Got my thickened epoxy, so I'm gonna get started. That doesn't look too bad. Think a blind man be tickled to death see that. The temperature went from 73 when I was out here this morning to we're 69 now, so we're doing okay there. Not great, but okay. Boy, when they say working time of 30 minutes, they mean 30 minutes on the nose. I mixed this batch at 5:30 this morning, and it's 5:56, and I can feel it's just now starting to. It is definitely starting to kick. All right, here we go. There's one round, so I probably have another round, and I'm not sure if I'm going to get to the other epoxy yet, but we'll pause here and be back later. All right, then I just got done smoothing all the fillets with some denatured alcohol, so I think they're looking okay. Yeah. I don't think I'll ever be great at it, but I think it'll get the job done and look halfway decent. I did have enough left over to do this back section where the manual wants you to put in the they call it a small neat fillet along the bottom to the number 1 plank, and on this side, so it's kind of hard to see. But on this side, I've made it a little bit more level and filled it in a little bit more. Over here, I've tried to keep it as a small, neat fillet, just like what they've said. They want you to do these and then wait for an hour and then fiberglass, put the fiberglass in. So our next job is to fiberglass this section, that section, and the front section. And they want you to have this done, and then an hour later come back and put the fiberglass in. Or if you wait a day, then they say you should come back and lightly sand it and then put the fiberglass in. Because I think this should be wait a day, put the fiberglass, or do some sanding, clean it up, and then put the fiberglass in later. So remember this section, the aft section here, will be covered. So I'm kind of using this as an experiment again to see how it goes. So I'm going to let it dry, and if it's dry enough tonight, I might come and try to do some light sanding and clean up so I can do it tomorrow, or otherwise I'll come out tomorrow and do it. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the 4 a.m. or not, but anyways, we'll get this. We'll do this sanded. I've already got the fiberglass actually cut for this. I think I'm going to cut a piece of peel ply and try that, even though they don't say to do that. The other thing I'm going to do is to wet out with regular epoxy the area first, then put the fiberglass down, then put the peel ply down on top of that, and we'll see how that looks. And like I said, this is going to be, you won't ever see this, after we put the seat on again. So it's the spot that I can experiment in before I do that one. And also I'll probably, if I have to do some more experimentation, then we'll use the bow section there before we do the middle section here, where it's going to be pretty visible. So anyways, we got that to look forward to. we'll pause and be back out probably tomorrow to do some fiberglassing maybe. Alrighty, it's another day out here in the shed, and sorry about the background noise from the AC, but that cannot be helped, so I'll try to make sure I talk nice and loud so you can hear me. Anyways, so last night after dinner I came back out, and this epoxy that we had put in here, thickened epoxy that we had put in here, was nice and hard and dry. So when I decided to go ahead and finish off this aft section, smoothed out most everything and roughed up the other fillets and get it prepped for fiberglass. So that's our next task, is to fiberglass the bottom. As I said yesterday, this is kind of an experiment. This will be covered, so we won't see this again once we put the seat on, and doing it a little bit different than what the book says. And so here in the book, they've got us, we're back here. So I've already got this cut and got it ready to go. Also, I've got a piece of peel ply to put over that, the same thing. They show you here what to do with masking part on the number 2 plank, right at the bottom. So where that joint is where you put the tape, and then they tell you to make sure to dry fit it, and then to go ahead and fiberglass it in. They give you a couple of different recommendations. Make sure we add more epoxy if the cloth shows white or cloudy spots. It needs to be completely clear, and finish one section before you get to the other one. Also, it says so when to use a knife to clean up that seam between number 1 and number 2. So that's what I've got here. I've got the masking tape on. This one here might look better right there, so you can see there's the plank 2, and the masking tape runs right along that edge. And I think we're all ready to go. So I've got my fiberglass here and my peel ply. Now all I've got to do is mix up some epoxy, and like I said, I'm going to wet this out first, put the fiberglass on there, wet that out, put the peel ply on it, and finish it up. And I've got 30 minutes also. The temperature is a little bit low in here today. We're all the way down to 68, it looks like. So I probably got 32 minutes instead of 30 minutes. So we'll see how this goes. Like I said, we're kind of practicing. I'm going to watch the clock pretty closely, because my big problem is the center one here. So this area here, I'm still not sure how I'm going to do. The next one we'll do is the bow. We'll do the bow. Oh yeah, so I got the front up on a sawhorse, and that makes this back real stable and kind of almost even levels it out. So hopefully that'll give us a little bit of an edge here to do this pretty quick. So we'll get you set up and we'll get going with some first of the fiberglassing. All right, then the fiberglass piece mostly fits. It fits pretty good. The thing that they don't talk about in the manual at all, I looked, is what to do about the edges here. Now, where's my tape measure? So hold on. All right, so they say 22 inches. So we'll just go from here to here. It's not probably right. So this is a little over 21, about 18 and a half there. So the 22 inches, I think they actually mean for you to lay the fiberglass up over this and onto the vertical surfaces here. They don't come out and say it, but I think that's what they mean for you to do. So that's what I'm going to do. When I take this out, I'll cut some of these loose strands of fiberglass off, and I think I want to, yeah, so let me trim this up a little bit, and then I'll mix up some epoxy, do the wet out, and we'll be on our way. All right, then I got 4 pumps of epoxy here, mixing up And I got all my brushes and tools I think I'm gonna need right sitting over here. And away we go. I'm gonna start at the back and work my way towards me doing this. And it's 5:48. And that's more for me than you, so see how long this takes. And 4 pumps is not anywhere near enough. All right, 6 pumps. I think that might do it. We'll go with 7. All right, got 7 pumps. I'm just gonna dump it out. Alrighty, all wetted out. Now time for some fiberglass. Close enough to get started. Yeah, not sure how much I'm gonna be able to show that. There's been quite a few, quite a few on YouTube comments that I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna be able to include. What a mess! I just had to make up. Just did a couple pumps of epoxy just to get me a little bit more to work with here. I think I'm getting fairly close. It looks like crap, but I think we learned some pretty good lessons here. The only way to learn is by doing it. All right, time for peel ply. This ought to be fun. Oh, good grief. Yep, and my 30 minutes is up. What a disaster. Alrighty, think I'm done messing with it. I think there's going to be a lot of sanding involved in this. Maybe even having to go back and put in some other fiberglass on top of it or something. I don't know. I just don't know. All right, time to clean up. What a mess. What an absolute mess. But did learn a few things. So anyways, let me get cleaned up here a little bit and then decide what the next step is here. All right, so what did we learn? Well, first off, even though I know it gives us a better adhesion, the wetting out beforehand is just not going to work. I can't, especially in a box like shape with this, you can't get the fiberglass to lay right when you're putting it out. So I think the first thing is something like this, I cannot do the wet out. The second thing I think that's important is these seams here. Yeah, they should have been a lot more clear. Is that it needs to be almost a flat transition. There shouldn't be any cove or anything there. It needs to be almost like a flat surface there from the bottom to the number one plank, because that's I was seeing, and you can even see here a little bit how the epoxy is pooling up in there. So yeah, so that's one problem is that I think they should have taken care of. The rest of it's mine. The rest of it's my fault. I still think peel ply is a good idea, and took a lot more epoxy than I was thinking. That's the other thing. So I'm gonna have to go back and watch the film to figure out. I think I started with 7. I did another 4, and then another probably 3 more just small 2-pump batches. So it's quite a bit more epoxy than I was thinking. And now, so I'm supposed to wait about an hour and a half, and then come back and trim off this excess here along these sides. So I'll do that, and I think it's still pretty cool in here. I'm gonna go ahead and do, especially while it's sitting up here pretty nice and high for me. I think I'm gonna go ahead and do the fillets here along the bow edge, especially now that I know that I want a smooth, flat transition along this along that whole edge there. I don't want any coving at all. I want it to be almost flat and smooth along the whole thing. So let me get going on that, and we'll be back in a little bit. Alrighty, so it's been about an hour and a half. So I figured I'd go ahead and give this, see if we can cut this like they said to do. I've got my doubts, but we'll give it a shot anyway. So I'll go, I'm just gonna run right along this edge here. Yeah, well, I think at least it's scored, I think, in the right spot. So hopefully that'll make it a little bit easier. All right, I think this is going to be a mess back here to clean up. I think it's going to be quite a bit of sanding, and we might have to go back and do some touch-up fiberglass work. Maybe we'll just take the peel ply off, sand it, and give it another round of epoxy. I don't know. Anyways, let's go ahead and show you what else I've done here. All right, so I got the fillets in on this bow section here, and hopefully you can see that I've really tried to smear it out and make it pretty flat along the whole thing, so we've got more of a flat spot here than any kind of depression. And I still need to go through, and I'll do that right now. I'll go ahead and do the smoothing out with the denatured alcohol, and then my plan, so I'll do that today, and then tomorrow we'll come back, take a look at our mess down there. We'll take the peel ply off and take a look at that, see how that looks. And then, so I'll do the cleanup on that and on this tomorrow. And I think then the next day, I'll go ahead and do the epoxying, the fiberglassing here, and then I'll do the filleting on the center section here. This is hopefully we've learned enough now with the aft section that we'll get a decent result here in the forward section, and then this center section will go real smooth. But we'll have to see how that goes. So we'll pause here and be back tomorrow. Alrighty then, so we're back out here. It's another day, just checking up here in the bow. This fillet here looks real good. I'm real happy with this side. Anyways, came out. There's it's really a nice transition across here, so I think that's going to work good. On this side here, I'm just a little bit low in a couple spots, but I think it's a lot better than what I did down in the stern. So at least we're learning something there. Now, talking about the aft or the stern here. Yeah, so I think we're going to be doing some more work back here. It's going to be probably kind of hard to see. Well, right there you can see there's a nice bubble. I still got to take the peel ply off and then clean up this edge. I think the rotary tool might come out. But anyways, let me peel this off. We'll see what we got, see what it looks like, and go from there. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, that's better. Alrighty then. Actually, I'm fairly surprised how well this came out. It may not look it, but I think this is pretty good. So right here, you can see the fiberglass cloth here underneath, but this was just because the peel ply hadn't sat down on there. So I can sand this out and then put another coat of clear epoxy, and that should look fine. We do have some, I think these are voids where, yeah, right there. So you can see the fiberglass is sticking up and it didn't get filled underneath. So there, I think I can go ahead and you know, make a little slit in here and goop some clear epoxy underneath it, I hope, and that should fill in. There's a couple spots like that. There's another little spot there. So there's all kinds of those little spots and areas where I think if I just sand it down and put another coat of epoxy over it, fix up a couple spots, I think we'll be pretty good. Got to clean up the edges a little bit more. I got to get that tape off of there. There's a tape in there. But other than that, I think it's not quite as bad as I thought it was going to be. Like I said, there's only a couple spots, you know, probably a handful of spots, maybe a little bit more than that. But anyways, shouldn't be that bad to get fixed up. All right, so yep, got quite a bit of cleanup to do here in the back. I've got to sand the fillets that I did up in the bow, and I need to get the wires out of the middle section so that we can get the fillets run for the middle section here, hopefully tomorrow. I did want to make mention, I am about a day and a half, 2 days ahead of real time. There's just so much, I've got so much stuff going on, and then I want to make sure I show that the videos are running long, and I'm also getting ahead of the schedule. But anyways, I think that's okay for now. I think here in the near future we're going to have some bigger area projects on the boat that is going to is going to get me caught back up here eventually. We'll see. Anyways, and if we don't, then I'll just release a early episode and get caught back up that way. But yeah, so anyways, we're going to end up this one. Like I said, got lots to do. You want to make sure you come back for next episode to see how the cleanup on this goes. And I want to say thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Please leave me any comments, questions, suggestions down below. Please tell your friends about me, and please subscribe. Everyone, take care and be good.